Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have a deck guide for Megaliths. Now, right here we kind of have the basic ratios of the cards you can play in a Megalith deck. They have a bunch of monsters, two spells, and they also have two traps, but we don't really use them. I like to split the monsters into two categories. We first have the big boys. They're the level 8s, and they kind of have their similarities, and they have a unique effect too. And we have the small people. All of them have an effect on their summon, and they have another common effect, and then they have I guess the effect on summon is different. They just have a common effect and an effect on summon. And we have three of the spell, Megalith Unformed. This one just summons a ritual monster from your deck, and Portal, which can recover a ritual Megalith from your, not necessarily have to be a Megalith, but it can be any ritual from your graveyard. So just starting off, we'll start with the big boys right here. There are three of them. Two of them are actually pretty good, and one of them is not that good, I'd say, but it's kind of it's decent at most. So this one right here, Megalith Phalanx, you usually just run it as a one-off, just so that's another level 8. And what it does is all the level 8s have the effect. They're basically walking ritual spells where you can discard it and then you can ritual summon a Megalith by tributing cards from your hand or field. So basically a walking ritual monster, and all of these share that effect. A Ratron right here is a little bit different because its ritual summon effect is a quick effect, so that can come up sometimes. But apart from that, Phalanx has the unique effect of when it's on field, all monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense for every ritual monster in your graveyard. It does come up in OTKs, but at that point your opponent's probably just going to lose anyways. We have two copies of a Ratron. As I said, this one's ritual summon effect is a quick effect, and it has the on-field effect where if your opponent activates a card that targets a card you control, you can put one Megalith from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck in order to negate it, which is a pretty decent protection. But the main reason why we run this as a 2-of is because it's a quick effect. Two copies of Betor, Megalith Betor. Once again, he has the same effect where it can ritual summon one from your hand by discarding it, and it has the effect when it is ritual summoned, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of ritual monsters in your graveyard. So usually in a match you're able to destroy up to 3 or 4 cards usually, but in the combo I'm about to show you, you will easily be able to pop 6 or 7 cards off Betor, and he is probably he has the best on-field effect out of all the big Megaliths, which is the main reason why we run him at 2. These are now the small Megaliths. They're the level 4 lower ones. All of them are played at 3 except this one, because this one's not that great. But we'll go over them one by one. As I said, all of them have a unique effect on summon, and they also have a common effect. I'll get the common effect out of the way. What they do is, while they're on the field, they are a ritual spell, opposed in not unlike the big ones that are ritual spells in the hand. What they do is, on the field during your main phase, you can ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field, including it. So it has that effect on field. All of them have that effect except Fool, which is a bit different, but we'll get to that in a second. What O-Field does in summon is that it searches a Megalith monster from your deck, which is not once per turn. We have Haggith right here. He has the same effect where it can ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand or field by tributing monsters, including itself. And what it does on summon is searches a Megalith spell or trap. Once again, not once per turn, so you can abuse this maybe once or twice, sometimes even 3 times a turn. We have one copy of Megalith Ock. What it does on summon is it draws 1 card, then discards a card, which isn't that great. But as I said, when I said that they have the effect on field to ritual summon, Ox is a bit different. Similar to a Ratron, its one is a quick effect, which is the main reason why we just run this as a one-off, because it summons a card called Magician of Black Chaos Max, where if it's summoned for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate monster effects. So if you're able to summon it on your opponent's turn using Ock, they will be locked out of monster effects. And even Betor, you can summon Betor too, which can pop a bunch of cards. So it's not that great. It's not that great by itself, so we just run it as a one-off. Some builds don't even run it at all because they don't run Magician Black Chaos Max, which is 100% understandable. But Arc is really just a one-off. Its on-field effect doesn't really generate advantage, unlike the other lower ones, which is another reason why we run at 1. And Fool, this is the new one that came out of Rise of Duelists, and this absolutely changed Megaliths. Since all the level 4 or lower ones had the effect to tribute themselves on field, this couldn't really be much of a this wasn't really much of a swarm deck, mainly because most of the time you could only keep one monster on the field at the same time. But what Fool does is that you can on summon it can recover a ritual monster from your graveyard, and then it copies its level, so you can go into rank 4 plays if you copy the level of Ophiel, Haggard, or Ock. And its on-field effect, once again, just like Ock, this is a quick effect, so you can summon ritual monsters on your opponent's turn 2. And what it does, it doesn't need to tribute itself, so you can just keep it on field for more Link or Xyz plays or single plays. And it can summon a ritual monster from your deck, which is so big. It entirely changed the deck from a very, very slow deck into a deck that can turbo out a bunch of combos. The spells right here are also some very good spells. Unformed can tribute, it can summon a Megalith monster from your deck by tributing monsters from your hand or field exactly twice its level. So if you tribute one of these big boys, you can summon Megalith, Ophiel, or Haggard, and if you tribute Ophiel or Haggard or something, you can summon that Fool, which also comes up often. We have one copy of Portal. The one copy of Portal doesn't come up too much. It does kind of rely on other cards, where it says its passive effect doesn't come up too much, where the first time each ritual monster would be destroyed by battle, it isn't destroyed. That doesn't come up too much, but what its important effect is when a Megalith monster is summoned, it can recover a ritual monster. It doesn't come up too often, and it does kind of rely on other cards, so we just play it as a one-off. And if you've noticed, most of these small Megaliths do generate advantage under summon, which is kind of reminiscent to Satellar Knights, where they just generate advantage, and they're not once per turn too, and since they're special summons, you can special summon them multiple times in turn, which is the main way how we try to play this deck. I'll just pull up a sample deck for you, and this right here is the second place LCS list of Megalith, where it gets out this card called Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, which locks your opponent out of card effects for the rest of the turn, and you summon it during your opponent's turn using cards like Formula Synchron. And if that fails, then you can always just summon the card that I talked about earlier, Magician of Black Chaos Max. So I'll just go over to some of these cards. I'll probably just mouse over this first. We do run the Incantation engine. It's a rather small one with just one copy of Talismandra, one copy of Kandal, and 3 copies of Chalice Slime, one copy of Inception 2 to search of Kandal. This doesn't come up too much, but we do run 3 copies of Chalice Slime because you can summon Talismandra from your deck to get an extra search. And this deck is a very consistent deck, and it's very fun too. We run 2 copies of Senju, which searches any ritual monster on summon, and 3 copies of Manju, which searches a ritual monster or ritual spell on summon. So you can kind of just search any of these people right here. Unfortunately, Unformed doesn't count as a ritual spell, even though it can ritual summon, so you can't really search it off cards like Manju. The hand trap we run is Gamma. It's the main reason why we run Gamma over other hand traps is because it does come up in the combo, and this card is absolutely broken in this deck. Since all your ritual monsters are rock monsters and they're earth too, you can use Block Dragonated. What Block Dragon reads, you can summon it by banishing 3 earth monsters from your hand or graveyard, and what it says, when sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total level equals 8. So you can easily go plus a lot in a turn. Usually your main searches will be Adamantipator Researcher, which is a free summon if you control a rock, which all of these are. One, you search a Megalith Fool because it's a level 2, and Ophiel is usually the level 4 you search too. Some people search Ock if you already have an Ophiel in hand. But those are your main searches, and since Researcher can summon itself out, you can go into cards like Link Cross, which can generate tokens in order to go into synchro plays on top of that. You can also play cards like Arclight. You can play Arclight, and since it's a synchro deck, you can just kind of make Arclight, and on top of that you can go into even more Link or synchro plays, and you can get a search off it while generating advantage, such as going into Borloth Savage Dragon, which is another negate. So the main way to play this deck, if I haven't gone over it yet, it's a consistent deck where you just try to get out as many ritual monsters and you generate tons of advantage while swarming the field using cards like your Megalith Fool. And once you swarm that field, you want to go into Gallant Granite, which is a rank 4, which searches Block Dragon, which is another, you can kind of call this a pseudo win condition, because it isn't reliant on Block Dragon entirely, but just the Block Dragon resolution is so powerful, you almost always want to resolve it. So you just use the summon off Fool to go into Gallant Granite, and then you go search Block Dragon, go into a few more Link plays, summon out your Block Dragon, and then somehow tribute him off for a card like Megalith Fool, Ophiel, Megalith Unformed, any of that, in order to summon a Megalith, get advantage of that, and then get even more cards off your Block Dragon, and thus you're swarming the field while continuously generating advantage, which is one of the main ways to play this deck. So I'll just go over a quick combo tutorial on how to play this deck specifically. So I'll be back in a second. So right here we have a kind of a test hand. Basically, if you have any way to resolve Megalith Ophiel, you basically have full combo. So right here we have Unformed and a level 8. As I said, Unformed can ritual summon the deck by tributing monsters whose level is twice its level. So you can go ahead activate Unformed right here in order to ritual summon a copy of Ophiel. And since as long as you're able to resolve Ophiel, you pretty much have full combo. This deck has so many search cards, you can easily bait out an Ash or two. On top of that, it can play through some hand traps. Although this deck is a bit more fragile if you're not able to get your Block Dragon. So off Ophiel you want to search Fool, and I'm just showcasing the combo right here. We will go ahead activate the effect of our Ophiel, which is a walking ritual spell. You can just summon a Megalith monster by tributing it, and now we can trigger Fool, which will go ahead recover our Ophiel. I'm going to pretend I don't have any of these cards just for the sake of the combo. We're going to use our Fool in order to tribute the card we just added in order to summon a copy of Haggett. So as you see, we only had one card on the field this entire time, but as soon as we go to Fool, we can get another card which can help us branch out into more combos. So we're going to go ahead and use our copy of Haggett, get a search for an Unformed. I would search a Portal right here if this was a real game, but once again I'm ignoring these 3 cards just for the sake of the combo. Now since we have 2 level 4s because of Fool, we can go ahead summon out Gallant Granite. Now what Gallant Granite does you can detach 1 material in order to search a copy of any rock monster, so we'll get search Block Dragon, and I'm going to activate the Megalith Unformed in order to tribute the Block Dragon in order to summon another Haggett. Now at this point you do just search another Unformed of Haggett, but since we have the Unformed, we're kind of forced to just get this copy of Portal. Next we go into a copy of Ossa, the Wind Charmer. Earth Charmer, and this is really just to get your Earth monsters into the graveyard so that you can summon Block Dragon from your graveyard too. So we're going to be banishing a few things from your graveyard in order to summon it, and now we will go into a Link Cross. We're going to use the effect of Link Cross, and this is, since Block Dragon can search Adamantipator Researcher, you can summon out generate a lot of advantage. So we're going to go into an Unformed. We will go ahead and ritual summon, and usually you would ritual summon a copy of Haggett, but since I've drawn this one and we already have the Portal anyways, which is usually what you would search, we'll go into a Ophiel. we're going to chain block our block dragon by chain link 1, chain link 2, and we are going to add 4 cards to our hand. Absolutely crazy. So right here we are going to be getting the search for a copy of Aratron off our Ophiel, just so that we can summon a Black Magician of Chaos Max during our opponent's turn. As I said, is another one of the deck's win conditions. So you're going to get a couple of searches. You can either search Ock or Ophiel, it's honestly up to choice. I'm going to be searching Ock right here, so that it makes the combo easier. Next, we will activate Portal, and then we will special summon this Adamantipator Researcher right here. Next, we will synchro into a Metal Marcher. The reason why this is kind of important is because Metal Marcher turns 1 tuner into 2 tuners, which is pretty crazy. And now we're going to go into a Herald of the Arclight. And Metal Marcher has another effect where if it's used as synchro material, it treats the synchro monster it summons as a tuner. So since Arclight is tuner right now, you can use it to go into a Savage Dragon. We're going to chain block our Arclight because we kind of need the search. We're going to use Savage in order to equip Asa from our graveyard, and it just acts as another negate, so if our opponent tries to stop our combo, we can still keep going. We're going to get search for Magician of Black Chaos Max. Next, we summon out Halqifibrax, and now you're going to see why running Gamma specifically as a hand trap is important, because just acts as another, it's a level 2 tuner, which is basically why we run it. So now we're going to be summoning a Block Dragon from our graveyard by banishing some more cards. I just like to banish the Researcher specifically as one of them. You can banish the Fool and something else. If your hand is a bit bigger, then you can banish 1 card from your hand too. So I'll keep the Haggith. I'll banish this Haggith in my graveyard in order to summon Block Dragon. I should have summoned it here just to play around Mech Knight zones, but it doesn't matter too much because we kind of end our turn here, and now you're gonna see in a second what we do. So say they do something, we're gonna activate Savage Dragon, and we're gonna do stuff. So during the main phase, we're gonna activate Halqifibrax's effect in order to banish itself to summon a copy of 4-mil Synchron. 4-mil Synchron will get you a draw, so that's even more advantage. And now on resolution, you will activate 4-mil Synchron. It's important to do this on resolution, otherwise what you're going to do will miss timing. You're going to go into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. Now what this does, on spell speed 4, so your opponent cannot respond to this. Your opponent cannot activate cards or their effects for the rest of the turn. So, yep, it's a full lockdown. And if your opponent somehow dodges this, so if they use a card like Dark Ruler No More or Forbidden Droplet, you can still play. As I said, the reason why you had to do it on resolution specifically is because it's a when effect, so it will miss timing. That's something to keep note of. And if somehow that fails, then you can go into use the effect of Aratron right here, which will summon out a Megalith Ock by tributing Block Dragon. You're gonna go ahead, activate some more cards, and you're gonna be drawing 1, discarding 1, and getting 2 more cards into your hand. So we're gonna use our Portal right here. I just like to recover Bethor in case I really need it, or in case my opponent has just set a lot of back row, in which case you don't want to go for Chaos Max. You just want to go for Bethor instead. And we'll discard another card. The discard doesn't matter too much, we'll just discard this Gamma. And then our, Block Dragon will trigger, which will get us a search for another card. I'll search Aratron right here, or you can even search your Megalith Phalanx just to secure an OTK next turn. And what you're going to do, you're going to activate your Megalith Ock, which will summon out your Magician of Black Chaos Max by tributing 2, and you're going to be summoning out your thing. And what it says is when it's summoned, you can tribute a monster, and then your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn. So just a very, very consistent deck, just because of the sheer amount of search cards we have, Manju, Senju, and whatnot. And It's just a very good deck. So I'll just go we'll just have an overview of the deck once again. So here's a quick recap. Megalith is an archetype that is based around not using ritual spells, but using the ritual monsters as ritual spells to summon other ritual monsters. On top of that, the monsters that you usually summon do generate advantage on their summon, and the new card Megalith Fool can swarm the field, unlike the other Megaliths, which is why it is now turned into a combo deck. It has tons of consistency because you can run cards like Manju of the 10,000 hands, Senju of the 1,000 hands, your Incantation Chalice Slime to summon Talismandra for an extra search, you run Preparation of Rites for an extra search, and you run 3 copies of Extra Foolish Burial to get rid of, dump a copy of Herald of the Arclight to your graveyard for an extra search. This deck is all about searching, I'd say. It can also run Block Dragon, which can search a ton of Megaliths, and it has one of the best ritual spells in my opinion, Megalith Unformed, just because it's able to ritual summon a monster straight from the deck. It's intended to use these cards as material for your small ones so that you can generate advantage, and they also have a field spell that can recover cards, which is very important. So that's kind of a quick overview of the deck with your new cards, which can swarm the field. So you can since you can swarm the field with a bunch of level 4s, you can go into Gallant Granite, which searches Block Dragon, and now since you can summon Block Dragon and link him off somehow, or you can tribute it for a Megalith Unformed or any other form of ritual card, Block Dragon will get 3 searches, and one of those searches will be Emancipator Researcher, which since all the cards in this deck are rock, you can use it to go into synchro plays such as Arclight and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamities. So that's kind of a quick overview. Well, that wasn't really quick, but that's kind of more of like a guide and combo tutorial. As I said, this is a second place LCS deck list, and just probably one of the better decks I've ever seen. So I'll just mouse over the cards quickly so that you can see which cards we've used over here. In case you want to just make the deck yourself and test it out. Do just change up a couple of cards according to preference as you like. I did make one change in the extra deck, which isn't too important, but as you can see, just a very consistent deck. We run 15 search cards, 3 prep, 3 extra foolish, 3 Manju, not 15, 14, 3 Manju, 2 Senju, and 3 Chalice Slime. And yep, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.